the Movie Reviews. My name is Alonzo Brincat, and today I'm going to review the new science fiction thriller film, Voyages. This movie is directed by Neil Burger and stars Lily Rose Depp, Ty Sheridan, Fionn Whitehead, and Colin Farrell. A group of young men and women are on this space expedition to figure out a new distant planet which they call the new planet Earth, while Earth is at stake. Until these young men and women suddenly became self-conscious after avoiding drinking these blue liquid things that they are provided, and things go into chaos. Now, I think the best thing for this movie, watching it blind. I haven't seen any trailers of this movie. I know that Colin Farrell's in this movie. I know that Ty Sheridan's in this film. So that kept me interested enough. That's what I love to do. I love seeing movies blind, not knowing anything about the plot. Just seeing these movies really blind and not knowing what this film is providing us or what it's about. So that's what I did with Voyages. So, what do I think of this movie? I find this movie, honestly, very, very interesting. Especially when I watched the trailers after I watched the movie. And the trailers, comparing to the movie, didn't feel like the movie I was watching at all. Like, the trailers really provide this as a horror film at parts. This movie is more of a coming-of-age sci-fi thriller film. It's a film that took place in one location only, in outer space, in this crew pod, where these young men and women are basically communicating each other throughout the entire majority of the film. And I find the plot of this movie, in my opinion, very interesting and fascinating. Does it have flaws? Absolutely. There are a lot of things in this film that I'm like, okay, it doesn't make sense. There are moments in Voyages where I'm thinking, okay, this deserves a lot of questions. From the opening and the ending of the film especially. Like, the opening of the film, like, okay, this is something I haven't seen before. But they don't really explain much of those elements in the film. And even the ending provides us a really happy ending, which I'm not going to spoil, obviously. But there are parts in the film where I'm just like, okay, how's it ending up like this? Like, there's some moments in the film that I wish they could have explained it a bit more. There are a lot of explanations they could have provided for this film, especially from those two moments. But throughout the film, this film has a lot of things happening. But there are moments in this film that I was honestly like, I was really intrigued and very interested. Like the whole plot of this movie, the way the movie was convinced to us, I wasn't bored. I was very interested in the plot of this movie, which of course I'm not going to spoil too much of it because there's a lot of things happening in Voyages. There are moments in the film that kind of goes for something like, something is happening that we think is happening, and then it turns out something different. And if you watch this film, you know what I'm talking about. And I really like the way they did that, thinking, okay, is this really going to happen? And then this thing happened, and I'm like, oh, well, that's original. That is very, very different. The cast in this movie, I would say they did a really good performance in the film. From Ty Sheridan, hopefully I say his name right, the guy from Ready Player One, he did a really good performance in this film. Fionn Whitehead, who was the main guy from Dunkirk, he was great in this movie also as this bad boy type character. Colin Farrell, I like this actor. I love seeing him in everything he's in. He's such a talented actor in this film. But the standout for me, in my opinion, is Lily Rose Depp. I haven't seen her anything before, and I know she's in big things, which I haven't seen. If you don't know Lily Rose Depp, obviously she is Johnny Depp's daughter, and she's a model and an actress. And she was really good in this film. I really like to see her in more stuff after this movie, or I want to see her in more stuff after this movie, because I found her performance very fascinating, but also really, really breathtaking. The best way to explain Voyages is that this movie is more like Lord of the Flies with a teen dystopian film. That's basically the way I see this film. At times it does feel like Lord of the Flies, and most of the time it does feel like a teen dystopian film, kind of like what The Maze Runner did. Like, this film kind of copies some of the tropes that The Maze Runner did. There are some characters that are like, okay, we don't believe in this stuff, and there are characters that are like, okay, we need to do the right thing. This has to happen. This film goes into some cliches. Some of the characters are kind of like stereotypes in the film like this. And especially that this film is coming from a very original and different plot, it just goes for those cliches. And like I said before, this film provides us questions, and I feel like they could have explored those elements a bit more. I didn't find Voyages boring. I honestly find this movie very fascinating and interesting, and it brings up probably one of the most underrated movies of the year. Obviously, I really want to explain what this movie is mostly about, because obviously this film is not what it said it is, but obviously I want you guys to go see Voyages with a different perspective and with an open mind, not knowing what is happening. I would say it's not a movie I would watch again, but I feel like Voyages is a movie that can be entertained, but also can be very fascinating and interesting throughout the majority of the film. I'm going to give Voyages a B-. So guys, that is my review for Voyages. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments below. Do you like the movie, hate the movie, or you thought it's okay? Or did you find this film interesting or not? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below, Facebook status, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews, and have a nice day.